Thank you. Okay, Madam Chair, the floor is yours.
Excellent, thank you. Good evening. The City of Boston Zoning Board of Appeal hearing for February 15th, 2024 is now in session. This hearing is being conducted in accordance with applicable provisions of the open meeting law, including the updated provisions enacted by the legislature last year. The new law allows the board to continue its practice of holding virtual hearings until March 2025. This hearing of the board is being held remotely via the Zoom webinar platform. This hearing is also being recorded. In order to ensure this hearing of the board is open to the public, members of the public may access this hearing through telephone and video conferencing. The information for connecting to this hearing is listed on today's hearing agenda, which is posted on the public notices page of the city's website, boston.gov. Members of the public will enter the virtual hearing as attendees, which means you will not see yourself on the screen and you will be muted throughout unless administratively unmuted when asked to comment. Board members, applicants, and their attorneys or representatives will participate in the hearing as panelists, and they will appear alongside the presentation materials when speaking. Panelists are strongly encouraged to keep video on while presenting to the board. As with our in-person meetings, comments in support will be followed by comments in opposition. The order of comments is as follows: elected officials, representatives of elected officials, and members of the public. The chair may limit the number of people called upon to offer comment and the time for commenting as time constraints require. For that reason, the board prefers to hear from members of the public who are most impacted by a project, that is, those individuals who live closest to the project. If you wish to comment on an appeal, please click the raise hand button along the bottom of your screen in the Zoom webinar platform. Click it again and your hand should go down. When the host sees your hand, you will receive a request to unmute yourself. Select yes, and you should be able to talk. If you are connected to the hearing by telephone, please press *9 to raise and lower your hand. You must press *6 to unmute yourself after you receive the request from the host. Those called upon to comment will be asked to state their name and address first and then provide their comment. In the interest of time and to ensure that you have enough time to do so, please raise your hand as soon as Mr. Stenbridge reads the address into the record. Do not raise your hand before the relevant address is called, or the meeting host will not know to call on you at the appropriate time. Okay, Mr. Stenbridge.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Present.
Good evening. Ms. Betta-Baraza.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Present.
Good evening. The floor is yours, Mr. Stenbridge.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And we begin with the hearing scheduled for 5 p.m. First, we have case BOA 153-9958 with the address of 68 Horace Street. If the applicant and or their representative is present, would you explain the case to the board, please?
Is Claudia or Arajo or their representative present?
Someone just put up the drawings. My name is Jonathan Guinness. I'm the architect working with Claudio and the owner, Whitney Zaley. So
great. Are you presenting?
I think there was a little confusion on our side. I can present as long as it's up here. Someone's driving, so this is just fine. Basically, this is an attic renovation to a two-family owner-occupied house. The expansion you can see is the hatched area. And when we submit for permit, it was rejected for zoning because of iPod. And of the three issues in iPod, basically there was no issue with adding 1,000 feet or expanding the front. We changed the roof line in the back. You can see basically, I don't know if you see my cursor pointing at this point.
You don't have control of the screen, so just let us know
Claudia,
where it is.
Claudia, if you point to the left where the dotted raked line is, yeah, basically it's going from a pitched roof line. If we go to the next page, it's really easy to explain. So essentially the red is what's being added. And so it was a flat cornice line that wrapped the corner to what is now a raked cornice line. It meets zoning and every other requirement, and the houses to either side are bigger than this. So anyway, so that's the extent of it. It's the change in the roof line.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Yes, if you can just provide me with a clarification for the, in regards to the height of the attic space, what's the height from floor to ceiling?
It's about 9 feet to the ridge beam.
Okay.
I
And what
believe-
about the majority of your habitable bedroom on average?
Like a little over, probably 7.5 feet, seven
Okay,
and a half
great.
to, I mean, it's pitched, right? It's not a flat roof in there. So if you go to the last page or last pages, there's some renderings of the interior. So you can see what's being done. So essentially, the only thing that's really changing on the outside is that little spot, and that's in the backyard. I'm sorry we don't have a drawing of the neighborhood. I have Google Earth
No,
up. and
I think I just wanted to make sure that you were working within the most of your habitable spaces to be a minimum of 7 feet. And it
Did you
appears
say 10 feet?
7.
7.
And it
Oh, yeah,
appears
yeah.
so.
No, I
So
mean,
the other question I have is, it's pretty much in your plans where you have the bedroom, you have access to windows, correct? I think it's, okay, good, because on the sleeping, the plan that you have noted, there's no windows noted, but in the seating area, there's windows. So as long as that's clear.
That's in one single space. There's
Okay,
no,
great.
that's,
So I don't have any further questions.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
sorry, and that's my
Any
cat in
other
the
questions
background.
from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office deferred to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. An abutter meeting was hosted by our office on December 14th. There was one abutter present who offered no comments. The Harborview Neighborhood Association Board reviewed the plans. It did not think the work being done in the plans need to go in front of the whole civic group, so they declined to have them come meet. We're unaware of any concerns at this time. Defer to the judgment of this board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Madam Chair, I have no raised hands. Thanks.
With that, may I have a motion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with a proviso that there'll be no building code violations.
May I have a second?
Oh, sorry, no, go ahead.
Second,
Mr. Stenbridge,
yes.
Ms. Better Brazza.
Yes,
Chair also votes yes, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next, we have case BOA 1516063 with the address of 49 Monmouth Street. Is the applicant and or their representative present to explain the case to the board?
Hi, can you unmute yourself?
Hello, how are you?
Hi, good.
Good, good. I'm waiting on Joey and Ray. I believe they are trying to get in. They're the owners. I'm the contractor.
Okay, hold on. I see a raised hand here. Oh, okay, I see him. Joey, I'm gonna make you a panelist. If you can just press accept and unmute yourself. Okay.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. Can you explain to us what you're looking to do?
Who's presenting, please? Who's presenting for this case? Is it the contractor?
Joey, you want me to? Oh, sorry about that. So, what
Oh,
we're looking
hi.
for? Sorry,
Whoever's
I'm
presenting, can you please identify yourself and put your
My name is
and-
Joey Mara. I am the owner of 49 Monmouth Street. So we have conversion from one family to second family to two family, and we're trying to build a deck outside, a bi-level deck to be used as an egress for the two family house. The violation is it's less than 30 feet from the back of the fence, and also there's an updated drawing that is now agreeing with the 3 feet on both sides. So both sides are now no longer in violation of the code. So it's just the back side that is less than 30 feet.
And how many feet is it?
So it's gonna be, after that is about 18.5 feet. The house is already at 29.5 feet from the fence.
Ms. Better Brazza, any questions?
Yeah, if we can go to the site plan. Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, what's hatched is the existing dwelling. You have one family that you want to turn to two family, and you're proposing a rear deck, and the rear deck is about 10'2" out from the existing property. Is that correct? So your new setback is 19'5".
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct.
Okay, is 19'5". If so, you're only proposing a deck. Correct?
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
and so when I
correct.
look at your A101, if we go to the A101, you have your drawings have kind of in blue. Is that supposed to show your lot dimension, your property line? And what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a building that is almost to the property line. So which one is correct?
So
Uh,
there is an, sorry,
Go
there's an
ahead, Joe.
update. Are you talking about the deck at the back that is on property line? There's an updated drawing that says that the side of that deck is no longer, is 3 feet from the property line.
Oh, okay. Actually, I was looking at the front. No, it's correct. So you do have adequate kind of reared setback. So it's what is the rear setback requirement?
The
I believe it's
requirement is
31.
30 feet.
Is 31 feet. So
Thir-
when
30.
you 30 feet, okay. So without the deck, is it non-conforming?
It's less, it's almost 30 feet.
It's almost 30 feet. So it's conforming. So you don't necessarily have a real violation right now with your
Correct.
existing building. Okay. All right. I completely understand the project. Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, any other questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. ONS hosted a abutters meeting on September 26th of 2023. No abutters were present. The applicant then went on to meet with the local civic association, which voted in favor 15-1 in November of 2023. With that, we'll defer to the board this time. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
With that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with BPDA design review. It seems like the neighbors are in favor of the project, so this is why I'm putting forward the motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza.
Yes.
Chair also votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Next, we have case BOA 1549627 with the address of 7 Hill Street. If the applicant and or their representative is present, would they explain to the board, please?
Hey everyone, my name is Elizabeth Cates. I'm the owner of 7 Hill Street in Charlestown. Our project is intended to add both a front and rear dormer to our existing 3rd floor in order to accommodate a bedroom, a bathroom, a small office, and a small laundry space. My understanding of the reason for our violation was the front dormer. If you go back to the first page, you'll see both houses that we're connected to have done this project. So any questions, please let me know.
Okay. Questions from the board? Hearing none, I'm going to take public testimony.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Sean Breen with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. An abutters meeting was held for 7 Hill Street on December 28th, 2023. Since that time, this office has received 0 letters in opposition and 0 in support. With that, we would defer our judgment to the board.
Thank you.
And I do have a raised hand here. Joanne, looking to give testimony? Okay, don't see a response. I have no additional raised hands.
With that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with a proviso that the project undergoes BPDA design review, paying special attention to the roof structure to align with dormer guidelines under the plan Charlestown for the original peninsula.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza.
Yes.
Chair also votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next, next we have case BOA 1547328 with the address of 8 Lawrence Street. If the applicant and or the representative is present, will they explain to the board, please?
Yes, sir. Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the board. This is Nestor Lemus. I'm the owner of the property. And we are proposing a roof deck on the building located at 8 Lawrence Street. And I'd like to answer any questions that may be. We did our research, and there's 17 decks in the immediate vicinity of the property location. And the refusal letter cited a couple of items. One is the roof deck structure, and then the other is the FAR, which I'll get to in a moment because I don't quite understand that, and then the height. With regards to the height, it's in 335, and if you can just go down up slightly on that slide, and we have 2 feet above the roof line that's allowable. So we're asking for a 0.7 roof height variance. And with regard to the FAR, when I did my math, I'm not sure how we don't comply. The lot currently is 2412. We have a 2 FAR. That leaves a 4824, and that currently has a 1.82 FAR. By adding the 250 square foot deck, we come to a total square footage of 4639, resulting in a 1.92 FAR. And as you can see in the slide there, we set the roof deck back from the street, and the hatch is the way we have access to the roof, keeping the structure at a minimum.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, so can you tell me again, what is the height from the ground all the way to the pitch of your access roof hatch?
It'd be 35.7.
35.7. So you're like, and the height is 35 feet, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And so you're looking for a variance to allow for that height.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Madam Chair, members of the board, Sean Breen with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. An abutters meeting was held for 8 Lawrence Street on December 14th, 2023. It was well attended. Since that time, this office has received 0 letters in support and 2 in opposition. Abutters have reached out with concerns with what they said was a lack of consideration for neighbor safety and property with ongoing work, preserving the historical nature of the area, privacy, and worry over the building being eventually converted into condos. With that, we would defer our judgment to the board.
I'm sorry, concerns about the building being converted to condos. What is it now?
Not condos. I mean,
Rentals.
yeah. Well,
No,
it's not even.
It's a
being
single
built right
family
now.
home.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm driving.
BPDA
Yes.
approved and ISD approved stamps for the single family home.
Okay.
So it would require another BOA, ZBA to convert that single family into condominiums. It is zoned for a 3F, but that's not what it's currently approved for.
Thank you. And are there currently any roof, I know you said there are roof decks in the area, but as far as your abutters are concerned, where are there roof decks?
Yes, on Union Street, there's several roof decks. I can't share my screen, but I had in my presentation to the community, I identified 17 roof decks in the area. And then along Austin Street, there's also a few roof decks. And then behind where the park and further on Austin Street, there's a few more roof decks right behind the skating rink, which is in the immediate abutter in the back.
Are there, sorry, Jessica, are there any other raised hands?
I see no additional raised hands, Madam Chair.
Okay, any other questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to propose a motion of approval with BPDA design review.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr.
There has
Cyphers?
been a request for comment.
Oh, there has been? Okay,
There, this
In the
is Robert.
chat.
Oh, so there is a raised hand right now. Sorry, Mary Ann, are you looking to give, do you want me to take it, Madam Chair? Can I take it?
yes, because
Okay.
we,
Sorry. Yeah. Mary Ann, are you looking to give testimony here?
I am an abutter, and I wanted to go on record that we oppose this second deck. The building has one deck already, as well
I
as
think
other.
you're, I'm sorry, ma'am, I think are you waiting for a 791 East Third Street?
No,
Oh, okay, because they're, all right, okay, go ahead, sorry.
no, I'm an abutter on this 8 Lawrence Street project.
Okay,
And as an abutter, there's already the building already has one roof deck, as well as other outdoor space, including a yard. It's already a very massive structure in a small space, and this would significantly increase the density. It would be visible from 3 streets and also cast further shadows encasing my yard and house. In addition, there have been contentious relationships with the builder and the neighbors. There was a lot of debate about tearing down an historic structure and then further building a structure that was not in keeping with the historic nature of the neighborhood by using white brick instead of traditional red brick. There have been lots of points, including, as Sean has mentioned, things that have fallen in our yard and created damage. But it's the density and the shadows and the fact that there already is plenty of outdoor space there that we strongly object to it.
thank you.
I would like to speak. This is Ron Coolidge as well.
Okay,
Okay,
can
go
you
ahead.
please put your name and address into the record?
Yeah, it has been in the record. I registered 2 days ago. Ronald Coolidge, Kulich. And
Okay.
Tom Naratone is with me and he's also a butter. He's with me on the same call. He's here on the same computer. Let me echo what Marianne said. I mentioned Tom Naratone is with us. We strongly oppose this. There are actually other letters. This is a second roof deck, so it's disingenuous to suggest a number of roof decks in the area. There are no roof decks on Lawrence Street. We have none. Our neighbors have none except behind. You could actually see this structure from 3 different streets, including the white CVS-like structure that he's erected. As you know, as Marianne said, there's a history behind this, which and the deck itself is yet another offense to the community. With respect to the suggestion that the developer has intent to make eventually ask approval for multiple condos. His construction supervisor has spoke to, not to me, but to other neighbors, suggesting that's his next step, perhaps a rationale for building this deck. And from our standpoint, if he does want to put this on, perhaps he should get rid of the first deck that he has. So we really strongly oppose this. It's an offense to the neighborhood, and unfortunately, this developer has offended the community since the initial tear down.
Okay, thank you. Any other raised hands? Jessica?
No, Madam Chair, thank you.
Thank you. So can the applicant speak?
Naratone is here, and he is a neighbor who would like to speak, and he's also.
Okay, so I think we got the gist of what the abutters had noted. So can the applicant please respond to the fact of there being more than one deck?
Yes.
Your
Yeah,
drawings do not show it.
especially in the submission, there it's only showing
Right.
only the proposed deck. So
But,
they do need to respond to
exactly, because
this will be the second.
it sounds like this is already built and there's already something there. And, looking as the abutters have noted, I do not see any structures on the same street that would appear to have roof decks on them.
So to answer your first question, Madam Chair, members of the board, the deck that's on the second floor was approved by the BPDA and ISD with regard to a roof deck on the second floor as it relates to the addition to the main house. So that's why it was not requested at this meeting. The roof deck is what, when we submitted the plans on the second time, it was asked to be submitted. That's what's shown on the plans. With regard to adding some color and flavors to our abutter, Mr. Cullage and Mrs. Cullage, there was a lawsuit presented because the Landmarks Commission, due to some filings of a subcommittee by Mr. Cullage and his wife, Marianne, were done inappropriately. When we filed the lawsuit, we prevailed, and then it was adjudicated by the director of Landmarks as with regard to the context and architectural style of the building. And then further, the BPDA reviewed the entire plans extensively. Mr. Matt Martin, with regard to the deck, the finishes, the architectural, we put brick on the sides in keeping with the local landscape. And with regard to some of the comments of speaking with my supervisor on site, again, I'm not converting this to units. That would be another process that would go forward. And I will share with you that ISD, OSHA, the police department, everyone's been called, and consistently OSHA, ISD, and the police department have said, continue with the work. So there's obviously some butter rights that we're not seeing eye to eye, and I can appreciate that. And I've been nothing but respectful to Mr. Cullage and Mrs. Cullage to move forward. So there is some animosity as it relates to items. For example, the shadow. There is no shadow because a 0.7 of what I'm allowed is not casting a shadow in respect to 3 streets. It only you can only see the building from the street at Lawrence Street and potentially from the other street, which is Union Street. You cannot see it from the street of Austin. So I would want to leave those comments.
Okay, other questions from the board?
Try to speak up.
Hello?
I'm sorry, we're not taking additional comments. Are there other questions from the board?
No, I just would like to withdraw my motion and put a new motion forward.
Please.
I'd like to make a motion to defer this case to the full board and ask the applicant to provide just a little bit more of context in terms of what has been already approved, so that we can understand fully that the deck is not, that the deck that's been already approved is not a roof deck. Just a little bit more context and allow for the full board to weigh in, and also to give the community members a chance to speak when they were asked to speak. So a much more formal board hearing would be appropriate at this time.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazzo.
Yes.
The chair also votes yes, the motion carries. So Javier, I'm not sure if, the next board makes sense because it feels like they need to resubmit plans so that we can see what's really there right now.
Yes, Madam Chair. The next board hearing would be February 27th, which I believe is not next week, the week after. So if the applicant believes he can submit those plans prior to then, that's okay. If he needs additional time, that can be up to the applicant or to the board if they want to re-advertise it at that point.
Madam Chair, so I'm preparing the appropriate plans. We're requesting that we submit the BPDA plans, which you have in your files, that show the approved deck on the second floor. I can submit that, prepare a slide, and then what are the other content of what you'd like me to prepare?
Yeah, I think just making it clear what you have already approval for,
Okay.
and what you're requesting new, and then it's just to allow for a kind of a hearing. You know, we heard public testimony after a motion was put forward, so I think it's just to make sure that we understand the context of the ask and what's been already approved, because I think it's under construction, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so we just need a little bit more context, just a better presentation about the scope and what your ask is.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, to be clear on the records, this deferral date would be for February 27th, as it has already been advertised for that date as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening, everyone.
Next case.
Next case is BOA 1544497 with the address of 71 to 77 Sumner Street. If the applicant and or their representative is present, they explain to the board, please.
Can you raise your hand if you're on for this proposal? Or unmute yourself if you're in the panelist section? '75 Sumner, are you on?
Summer Street.
Oh, Summer, sorry. Yep, 75 Summer. I don't see any messages, Madam Chair, or any raised hands.
Okay, let's keep going.
Hi.
I'm sorry, Mr. McIntyre, are you speaking to 71 to 77 Summer Street?
Yes.
Okay, please identify yourself.
My name is Tim. Yeah, my name is Tim McIntyre. I'm the senior construction manager for Taco John's. And we are wanting to change this space, which used to be a hair salon, to a Taco John's quick service restaurant.
Okay. What's the scope of the changes that you're
It's all interior fit out, removing just a couple of interior walls in the back that are not load bearing, and then fitting out the space and the basement. The first floor will be a dining room in the front part, and the back part, as you can see on the plan on the bottom of the screen, is the kitchen area. Then the top plan is the proposed basement plan that shows dry storage, a freezer, and an office.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
No questions.
Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board. Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. We're unaware of any concerns at this time. The applicant reached out and received support from the Downtown Boston Neighborhood Association, as well as the Downtown Bid. As stated before, we're unaware of any concerns and will defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
With that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to prefer a motion of approval.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Benavides.
Yes.
Chair also votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Next, we have case BOA 1511559 with the address of 791 East 3rd Street. If the applicant and or their representative is present, will they explain the case to the board?
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is Attorney John Barry from the law offices of John D. Barry, located at 10 Forbes Road, Suite 210 in Braintree, Mass. With me on this particular project is Nick Landry, the architect of the project from Design Resource Team at 546 East Broadway, Boston, Mass. 02127. 791 East 3rd Street is the address of this particular proposal. The one violation that we are seeking a variance regarding is for a roof structure restriction / modification. In light of the hearing that was 2 hearings ago, I just want to make this very clear for the board, the context and what is being asked for. Initially, Dom Lang is the owner of this particular site. They initially proposed and were approved for a permit to take the existing structure, add a 3rd floor to that structure. That construction was completed. The occupancy was approved. He has since moved in. This proposal is related to a what we're calling a 3rd-story walkout deck / roof deck for the 2nd unit. That's actually the plan right there, whoever's in control, that I would like to focus on. Initially, the original proposal included a Juliet balcony, and the new owners of this unit, Amanda and Ryan, would like to propose a roof deck on what is the existing rubber roof of the 2nd-story roof. What I just want to kind of make clear here is that there's not a lot of room on this particular property for outdoor space. The parking in the rear takes up almost the entire yard. And the idea behind this proposal is that as their family grows, they can have some private, safe outdoor space to utilize. We did have an abutters meeting. We did go to the local civic association twice during the community process. There were some concerns regarding the size of the deck, so we did reduce the size of the deck and went back and presented the deck again. Unfortunately, we were not able to get the full support of that civic association. If I could actually ask whoever's handling the slides to go down to page 5, A103. Sorry, that's the one that we were on. If we could go down to page number 8. Yes, that's it right there. So to the left, Madam Chair and members of the board, that is the existing structure as it looks. Unit 1 is actually utilizing the basement and 1st floor. Unit 2 is the 2nd and 3rd. That Juliet balcony that is located on the left would be removed if this proposal was to be approved, and they would install the deck that's proposed now on the right. That is roughly 14 feet in width, because that is the existing glass sliders that's installed with 7 feet in depth or length of the size of that deck. During the community process, there was a discussion about privacy, and we are proposing that there be some screening on each side of the deck. And this deck would be in line with what is surrounding this particular structure. Almost every house is either a triple decker style structure or a double triple decker that has a 3rd-story porch on it. With that, I guess I defer to the board if there's any questions or concerns with the current set. I think I pretty much covered everything that I wanted to. Actually, if I could just touch on this, this deck would be solely used by the owners of the 2nd unit. There's no way that it does not connect to the other existing decks. The only way to access it is through their particular unit. We proposed it that way to try to express to the community and try to relieve any concern that this would be some kind of a noise or concern for the neighbors as far as people partying on it. As this board's aware, a 14 by 17 deck is not very large once you put some furniture on it to be having a large party that would be really loud. We've tried everything that we can with the community to try to gain their support. And that's really the reason behind the screening and the drop in the size of the deck. But unfortunately, 14 feet in width is what needs to be done as far as the posts and where they can land with the existing Juliet balcony and the sliders. And 17 feet in length or depth is the same exact size or depth of the decks that are both on either abutters lots on their structures.
So can you clarify, so right now there appear to be full-length decks on the 1st and 2nd floor. So the 1st floor is for the basement and 1st floor unit, and that 2nd floor is for the unit that occupies the 2nd and 3rd floors. So they currently have a deck.
They currently do have a deck with the furniture and the grill that is, there's actual natural gas that's installed there. There's really not that much space. So the idea here was to actually create.
What's the footprint of the current deck? Do you?
I apologize if I could look at that. Nick, do you have the dimensions on hand easily?
And I don't know if this is
Sorry.
helpful to my
Yep.
colleagues, but is there a side profile? There you go. I was going to ask, is there a side
Yes.
profile that I could look at?
Yes.
The existing decks are about 10 by 15 they've got a spiral that's connected to part of them.
Right. So what's the distinction? The second floor is their living room, kitchen space, and the top floor are bedrooms, or like what is
The top floor is actually a large living. That's the top floor is actually the living space. So the kitchen. Let me actually defer to Nick. Nick, do you want to describe this?
Sure, yeah. So the second floor, which is the first floor living for the upper unit, has that roughly 10 by 15 deck with the grill and kind of a spillover dining space. And then the third floor has a bedroom, office, and then, like a secondary playroom, living room. And the thought was this deck would provide some additional family space off of that family room up on the third floor.
And so when you say that neighbors' units or buildings have decks, so are they similar in that, one unit has multiple decks, or are they just these, second floor has one deck because it's one unit, third floor has one deck because it's one unit, what? Because you're kind of, I just want to make sure, are we comparing apples to apples or apples to oranges?
The abutters are essentially flats. Each unit has the one deck off of the one floor flat because it's the normal triple decker style that is common. These units each unit would have essentially two decks that they can utilize.
Other questions from the board?
Madam Chair, so what is the size of the proposed roof deck?
It is 14 feet in width and 17 feet in length.
Thank you.
And how much of that top floor like that does it occupy? Because it looks like it's like
Nick,
right
do you
up
have that
against it
calculation?
ends.
How much of the top? So the total roof area is 1,500 square feet, and the total deck area is 238 square feet. So it's about 15% of the total roof area. So
And
that
when
includes
you
that second floor and the third floor deck in the total roof area.
Like, are you counting, because there's a step up to the actual roof, and
Yeah,
then
I'm
there's-
counting that roof as well. Yep.
Okay, so I just want to know that flat surface where you have that proposed 14 by 17. What is the the dimensions of that? So
About
please
20
exclude
20
the
by
top.
25.
20 by 25. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I can confirm that in 1 second.
Okay. So that's about half of that level, right? If I'm doing my math correctly.
Yeah, it's about 20. Yeah, it's about 27 long, and it's about 20 feet wide.
Okay,
So it's
thank
20 by 27.
Thank you.
20.
Other questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. Throughout this community process, we've heard a lot of feedback. Our office has received 12 letters in support. Those letters in support expressed that they felt that the proposal was reasonable. They liked that the owners were not changing the footprint of the home, that there was that there are existing decks on the lower levels. And this proposal would create a symmetrical look to the construction and allow the current owners outdoor space that is safe and private. As of 4:05 p.m., our office received 25 letters in opposition. These abutters mentioned points, including some direct abutters, concerns over the noise, considering the density of the neighborhood, potential transfer of ownership to others who may violate noise ordinances. The property already has a large deck off its first floor. Another deck is not needed, was what that resident expressed. The overall size of the roof deck and concerns over the real estate video advertising space. Please direct your attention to the sales and marketing statement saying that there will be a very large deck in addition to a larger lower deck. Some direct abutters cited concerns regarding the loss of sunlight and some existing what they feel is light pollution. We also want to note, as the applicant's representation said, the local neighborhood association, the City Point Neighborhood Association, voted to oppose this project. And I see that their civic leader is on as well to comment. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Newman, these letters of support you referenced, can you give us just a sense of where are they direct abutters, or are they?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I don't have that information. I just have what was provided to me by the liaison.
Okay, thank you.
Madam
Good
Chair,
afternoon.
Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, we're doing public process right now, so.
Yes, this is Joe McEachran with City Council,
okay.
Councilor Erin Murphy's office.
Okay.
We'd like to go on record in opposition, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
afternoon, Madam Chair. This is Laura Toledano from Council of Flynn's office. And I will now read his letter of opposition. Dear members of the board, I'm writing to oppose the proposed project at 791 East 3rd Street, which is on the Zoning Board of Appeals Subcommittee agenda this week. This project proposes to install a deck off of the 3rd-story walkout and has received overwhelming opposition from abutters, neighbors, and the City Point Neighborhood Association. This project was not as of right and engaged in this community process in an effort to obtain support from zoning relief from the neighbors, abutters, and the relevant civic association. My office attended the community meetings and would have subsequently received 25 letters in opposition, which provides a clear indication of the sentiment from neighbors and abutters and the results of the community process. This was originally a single family and converted into a two-family, with the second unit already having a large deck. Abutters have complained about the existing and persistent light pollution emanating from the current deck and impacting neighbors' qualities of life. These neighbors have consistently expressed during the community process that a walkout deck would be obtrusive and imposing. Moreover, this project and similar roof decks do not have any impact on addressing our city and state's housing crisis or demonstrate a hardship that warrants zoning relief. Roof decks have long been a source of loud noises at all hours, disturbances, and trash removal issues in South Boston for years, which were subsequently exacerbated by the pandemic and have since persisted. South Boston has endured significant quality of life issues for years due to loud house parties, with roof decks often being the location of such parties. Moreover, neighbors have expressed that expanding roof decks would naturally be the purpose of inviting additional people to engage in these activities that have negatively impacted neighbors' quality of life and disturb abutters. Other concerns include abutters' privacy being compromised due to the proximity of the proposed deck, and noted that long duration that the construction took for this site, which deeply impacted the quality of life for neighbors. My office has a long record of opposing roof decks and expansions like this over the last several years, due to aforementioned quality of life issues, loud party at all hours, impacting our seniors, persons with disabilities, families with young children, as well as trash removal concerns associated with similar proposals. I continue to oppose this proposal as well. I hope that the Zoning Board of Appeals will take the concerns of the people of South Boston seriously, with 25 letters for neighbors who actually live nearby, and vote to deny the variances being proposed. If you have any questions, please contact my office at edflynn.boston@boston.gov. Thank you.
Hi, Madam of the Chair, members of the board, Ana Calderon from Councilor Henry Santana's office. The councilor would like to go on record in opposition as well. We have been receiving a high number of letters in opposition, and just want to echo Councilor Flynn's concerns on this matter. Please take in consideration these concerns and do not move forward with supporting this roof deck. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Good to see you in a new role.
No additional raised hands, Madam Chair.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Okay, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, given the amount of opposition that we just heard, I would like to put forward a motion of denial without prejudice to allow the applicant to come back to potentially provide a new floor plan that gives a new roof plan that gives it a much more reasonable size of deck, and to allow a little bit more additional time to meet with his neighbor and to communicate the intentions.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza.
Yes.
The chair also votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board.
Thank you.
Next, we have case BOA 1548743 with the address of 11 Edge Hill Street. Is the applicant and or their representative present to explain to the board?
Hi, good afternoon, members of the board. My name is Julian Hernandez. I am the owner of 11 Edge Hill Street, along with my partner, Andrew Litchfield. The reason we're on today is because we are looking for relief on a zoning violation due to FAR on this particular property that we're renovating. We are exceeding the FAR slightly, and it's due to the basement that we are currently renovating. So we are just seeking relief for the zoning variance on that so that we can proceed and ultimately finish this basement.
Thank you. And just to clarify for your basement, is there bedroom space or just sort of a family type room?
Yeah, it's just going to be a bonus family room with a storage space and a laundry area.
Okay, any questions from the board?
Can you just please confirm your ceiling height?
I believe it is about 8 feet.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. Due to personnel changes, we don't have a ton of information on this proposal, but we do understand that the Jamaica Plain Neighborhood Council recommended approval on December 21st, 2023, when they went before that board. With that, we'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have no raised hands.
With that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to perform a motion of approval.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza.
Yes.
Chair also votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have case BOA 1545620 with the address of 75 McBride Street. If the applicant and or their representative is present, will they explain to the board, please?
Hi, this is Erin King, owner of 75 McBride. We are looking to expand our a porch on the backyard from its existing side, remove the existing porch and expand to an 11 by 14, which is the width of the house, and we have insufficient setbacks on either side. The last page of this has the clearest drawing. I think there's one more page. There it is, yeah.
So can you just clarify what the current what's the existing violation? Is there an existing side yard violation, and how are you exacerbating it?
I'm new at this. There's an existing side yard violation, I guess, because we only have like 2.5 to 3 feet on either side existing, the plot plans at the top. So we're not going any further into that. It's just, we can't go back. Like, we're just staying in line with that, but that's already in violation. We're already in violation.
And so what about the space to the rear?
We have, I think it's about 50 feet to the rear left, even with the addition. So it'd be like, we have 64 now, I think, and it's going to be 50 with the.
No other questions then. Any other questions from the board?
No, just to answer your question, I think it's just a non-conforming building, an existing non-conforming building.
Yep, it sounds like they're not doing anything more to the side yard, which is the only violation. Okay.
I don't
With
have-
that, I have public testimony.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. This proposal also went before the JPNNC, which recommended approval on December 21st of 2023. Our office is unaware of any concerns at this time. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
We have no raised hands at the moment.
With that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval.
May I have a second?
Second,
Mr. Stenbridge,
yes.
Ms. Better Brazza.
Yes.
Chair also votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next, we have case BOA 153-4425 with the address of 14 Victoria Street. If the applicant and/or their representative is present, would they explain, please?
Yes, we're seeking relief from the board to request a curb cut and a driveway. The driveway would be porous stone similar to others on our street. It would fit our 2 cars. Parking on the street can be difficult, so we've actually gotten a lot of support from the neighborhood. And we're happy to answer any questions.
How far in would your cars be going? Is there something that shows the depth?
Yep, you can see there, it's about 32 feet.
So that's the back of the house, correct?
This is the front.
No, it's the front.
That's the front. Okay,
Yeah.
so these cars are occupying the front to the edge.
Yes.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
If we can read BTD's recommendation, Bob D'Amico, and, just to let the applicant know that.
I don't have it in front of me. If Mr. Stenbridge does, that would be
From Bob
fantastic.
D'Amico of
Yes.
BTD.
Yes.
Suggest refusal for 14 Victoria Street, Ward 13, because the plan does not work. And secondly, it is front yard parking. And basically, that's, in fewer words, that is the BPDA's recommendation also.
Okay. Any
Yeah,
other?
so I have I have a question for the applicant. So typically the board does not allow or approve any front yard parking. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. And the other question is, do you need 2 parking spaces? Can you do 1?
I think our idea was to take 2 cars off the street and just allow for more parking for others on the street by having 2 spots. We'd be happy.
Because you'd be creating a curb cut where one does not exist. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess because that's why I asked you about the depth. Because is there an opportunity for your cars to go further back so they're not front yard parking? Because you're right up against the edge. So
No, there's not enough room with the way the building jets out. Cars wouldn't be able to fit.
Okay. Because it definitely appears that there is on-street parking on both sides of the street. So Ms. Better Brazza, 1 car would not make sense.
We are across from 4 3-decker houses that do not have parking in the back. So that's at least like 9 cars total that don't really have parking. So they tend to park on our, like in front of our house. So we're just figuring that we would create some more relief for that. And the proposed driveway is similar to other driveways that exist on the street. These are just buildings that do not have a front yard. It's just dirt or stone. So ours would be different in the sense that the rest of the front of the house would be grass. So
I think that's not the definition of front yard parking. The distinction is it appears that they have enough room in the back so that their cars are not all the way to the front, which in your drawing, that's why I asked you in your drawing whether that was the front or the back that I was looking at.
Yeah, we've seen cars that are parked fairly close to the curb, but I don't know. Like
Understood.
that's I disagree.
Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, can I have public testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office will defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. ONS hosted an abutters meeting on November 8th of 2023. We received 3 letters in support. They went to the Planning Committee for the Columbia Savin Hill Civic, where they received 11-1 votes in support. They went on to the general membership and received unanimous support. With that, we'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have no raised hands at the moment.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
Yes, do you have support from your 2 abutters that are adjacent to your property?
Yes, one of them provided a letter that I think was just mentioned, and the others haven't raised some questions, and we had discussions, but they never wrote a letter either in support or opposition.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I would like to propose a motion of approval with the proviso that we allow only 1 parking space to exist, so it's not considered front yard parking.
Madam Chair, this is Javier. I think that would create a new violation. And it would violate to reduce parking. So I would advise against that motion. Mainly
So
because
Javier, so basically, right now it's the zoning. Right now, there's no existing parking. So, the variance is to allow for parking. And then you're saying that then it'll be a 2 will be required. So that would be a new zoning violation.
no,
What's the violation for?
if reducing the parking allowed to 1 to be 1 for 1 would create a violation, as it would need 2 parking spots for this. Reducing it to 1 would create a new violation.
New violation, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, okay, got it. So thank you for that. I don't know if the applicant understood, but then I would like to revise my motion of denial without prejudice. And potentially, request for that violation in the new application.
So file a new application requesting.
I'm not sure if the new board would accept it. I'm just allowing you to come back with a new set of plans, versus denying it. So I'm just putting forward this motion to allow you the opportunity to come back with a new plan. But it's not to warrant that it would be approved by the board.
Correct. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Better-Brazza, Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better-Brazza,
Yes.
the chair votes no, the motion does not carry.
Okay, so I'll put forward a new motion, which is a motion to deny.
Is there a second?
Yes.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better-Brazza,
Yes.
the chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Moving on to case BOA, excuse me. Case BOA 1535324 with the address of 55 Samoset Street. If the applicant and or their representative is present, will they explain to the board, please?
Hi, my name is Vienna Rothberg. I am the owner at 55 Samoset Street. And we are proposing to remove our roof and put a new, simpler roof line in and 2 dormers on the side. We have 2 violations. One is an existing non-compliant side yard. We're doing nothing to this side yard, so it is what it is. And the second violation is on stories, but not on height. So right now we're at 31.5 feet. Our neighbors and the zoning allow for 35 feet. We want to go to 35 feet, but because it'll be considered a third story, it will be in violation because it's called a third story. So, but the height will be equivalent to the neighbors and in compliance with zoning.
So can you clarify what you'd be putting on that story, and also just remind me, what's the occupancy now? Is it a one family, a two family?
Yeah, it's a one family. It's just going to be a big art space and bedroom and bathroom for me and my partner, or foster parents. We'd like a little bit of space away from the kids. And so we'd like to use that third floor. Right now, it's like a totally raw space. It's not really usable. It's not insulated. I don't know if you have the PowerPoint that I had sent with pictures of it currently, but it looks like you don't have it. But it's kind of like it's got 3 dormers and they're all mismatching right now. And we just want to, and it doesn't have a center beam. So it's just kind of a messy roof. And we want to make it a big, simple one space.
Does one of these slides show what's proposed in the space? Because some of the comments we received just expressed concern that a kitchen or something was being put in, and that it would potentially become another unit. So I just want to
definitely not going to become, it's not definitely not going to become another unit. I don't know what you have.
We don't have anything. I'm just asking.
The plans do, but the plans in the attic do show a refrigerator. It looks like a full kitchen.
I think it's like a potential for the future. I don't know why the architect kept putting that in there. We've had roommates in the past that have had refrigerators in their room. If we rented it out, we might allow them to do that. But it really is definitely what we want there is the bathroom and the playroom, or a living space for us to put our bedroom up there. I guess, I don't know, he had said we should put that up there in case we ever wanted to put it there, but it's not. You can see, I think it's like future kitchenette. I don't know. I didn't want it on the plans.
Yeah, it says future.
So can you clarify that is not in your proposed, what you're requesting?
Right. It is not.
Because I think that's a source of concern. Okay. Any other questions from the board?
No.
Hearing none, may we have public testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office like to defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. ONS hosted a butters meeting on November 15th. There were 4 butters in attendance. There was some curiosity expressed, no objections in that meeting. The civic voted to support, which I believe is the St. Mark's Neighborhood Association. We did receive 1 letter in opposition, I think highlighting concerns related to a future kitchen, and 1 letter in support. With that, we'll defer to the board at this time. Thank you.
iPhone 44, can you give testimony? And then I see it
Nick,
over there next.
No, I'm in support. I am with the applicant.
Okay.
Okay, no additional raised hands, Madam Chair.
Okay. With that, may I have a motion?
Yes, I would like to put forward a motion of approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza.
Yes.
Chair also votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have case BOA 1527583 with the address of 899 to 901 Washington Street. If the applicant or the representative present, they explain to the board, please.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. Attorney Anthony Ross. I have my office at 343 Belgrade Avenue in Rosendale, here on behalf of the applicant. The requested relief here is to legalize a longstanding use going back more than 11 years of this property being used as 2 dwelling units. The legalization requested will result in no exterior changes to the building, and no building code violations or exceptions are involved in this request for zoning relief. The property is zoned, the location is zoned for 2-family use. It's in a 2F 5,000 district. In this district, a lot area of 5,000 square feet is required for either a single family or for a 2-family. Therefore, this property being on a lot of 4,485 square feet is now 515 square feet short of the code requirement and a recognized non-conforming situation. Because the lot area requirement is the same for both a single family or for a 2-family, the relief we are seeking approval for as a 2-family requests no greater variance from the code requirement than what currently exists. Additionally, neither the 2-family use nor the non-conforming lot size are out of character for the immediately surrounding area. There are a number of other 2- and 3-unit buildings on lots that are smaller than 5,000 square feet, and in many cases smaller than the lot size for this property. I could give examples with addresses if requested for the by the board.
We're good for now.
Yeah.
Any questions from the board? Hearing none, can I have public testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office would like to defer to the judgment of this board. Some background information on the community process. ONS hosted a butters meeting on December 14th, 2023. We have not had any letters of support or in opposition regarding this proposal. We instruct them to reach out to the local civic association, which is the DUN Neighborhood Association, which they reportedly emailed in late December. Dunn mentioned they did not receive that email and did not have a chance to vote on this proposal. I understand that the Dunn requested if that the board does approve this proposal, that the applicant still meet with the local civic association. With that,
Can you just tell us what DUN stands for so we can make sure we...
Ed, that is a great question, Madam Chair. Give me 1 second and I can
Fair enough.
try to find it for you. I apologize.
Madam Chair, the association's the Dorchester United neighborhood.
Thank you.
And we emailed them on December 6th and on December 20th. And my understanding is we asked them if a proposal of this small size was something they wanted a presentation on. And my understanding is when we didn't hear back from them, that the board office went ahead and scheduled this hearing. But we'd be happy to appear before them as requested.
Thank you. Okay. Any other raised hands?
No additional raised hands.
May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to prefer a motion of approval.
And can we include the proviso that they still go before the DUN?
With a proviso that they go on in front of a DUN.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next, we have case BOA 1525805 with the address of 44 Bondale Road. If the applicant and or the representative is present, they'll explain to the board, please.
Good evening, Madam Chair and board members. My name is Ray Falk. I am representing Richard Albert Architects, and we are at 9 Birch Street in Roslindale. The project is to add approximately 100 square feet of first single-story addition to the side of the house. The property's a little funky. We would be removing a small existing access point on the Borndale side of the house and expanding that to include a first floor bathroom and revise the entry that it currently exists and provide a second egress to the back rear of the property.
Okay.
That's actually the Northbourne side of the house. I'm the owner, Sheba Nemet Nasser.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Thanks for the
Shiva.
clarification. Are there questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony? Is there public testimony, Jessica?
Yes, sorry, Madam Chair, members of the board. Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office like to defer to the judgment of this board. The applicant did meet with the Jamaica Plain Neighborhood Council, which voted to support this proposal. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and we have no raised hands, Madam Chair.
Thank you. With that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza. You're on mute.
Yes.
Chair also votes yes. Motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next, we have case BOA 1543234 with the address of 77 Woodland Road. If the applicant and or their representative are present, please explain to the board.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Stenbridge. Good evening, Madam Chair, Board Member Better Barazza, Attorney John Fulgini on behalf of the applicant of 77 Woodland Road in Jamaica Plain. For background, this zoning subdistrict is 1F 9,000. It's in Moss Hill, and this lot size is 9,030 square feet. So with me tonight is Koji and Jessica Yasuda. They are the owners of 77 Woodland Road, together with their architects, Jeffrey Sargis and Samir Latifa. The Yasadas have proposed a renovation in addition to their existing one-family home at the address so that they may accommodate the need of their growing family. This proposal includes the construction of a new garage space at the basement level, the renovation of first floor space, and the renovation of second floor space. There will be an addition that will extend on the left side of the home when you look at it from the street at both the first and second floors. As far as violations, we had 2 violations on the refusal letter. One was a rear yard setback in this zoning subdistrict. 40 feet is required. Existing is 36.6, so it was already a non-conforming property, and we're at 34.3. So it's about 2 feet more than what it was. We're also cited for a side yard violation in this subdistrict. 12 feet's allowed, and we are at 12'3". So that is not a violation. There are no other violations. There's no FAR. There's no open space or anything like that. We went through a very lengthy community process for a project this size. We had an abutters meeting where everybody well-attended abutters meeting where we had support, full support. We also attended the Jamaica Hills Association because this is in Moss Hill. Again, full support from Jamaica Hills Association. And then we went to before the Jamaica Plain Neighborhood Council, and again, full support from Jamaica Plain Neighborhood Council. I'm happy to answer any questions. The architects are on this call as well, so we appreciate your time. And
thank you, Mr. Fulgini. Any
Thank you.
questions from the board? Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna ask for public testimony.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office likes to defer to the judgment of this board. The applicant met with the Jamaica Plain Neighborhood Council, which recommended approval on December 21st of 2023. We're unaware of any concerns at this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have no raised hands.
Madam Chair, can you read the BPDA's recommendation?
It says the BPDA recommends denial without prejudice. The proponent should resubmit plans with an addition that does not create a new side yard nonconformity and that does not further reduce the rear yard depth of the building, as there is available space on the lot for these adjustments to be made.
but if I could just
Yes,
not
sir.
speak over anybody here. We have not triggered a side yard violation. If you look at our plans that are before you, we're over that amount. It's a 12-foot side yard. These people, Mr. Yasuda is in life sciences. He works in Cambridge. His wife is a physician at Children's Hospital. They're living in Jamaica Plain. They purchased this house. They have kids and family, and they're just doing a renovation. This literally, the house right now is 1,700 square feet. They're adding approximately 900 square feet to this. Just for their family.
Understood. Any other questions from the board?
No further questions.
Okay, hearing none, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with BPDA design review.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better Baraza.
Yes.
The chair also votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your night.
You too.
Next, we have case BOA 1544745 with the address of 615 to 619 Center Street. If the applicant and or their representative is present, they explain to the board, please.
Sorry, there's a raised hand here. Hold on. Shari? I sent a request on mute. Yeah. Is it suitable?
¿Dónde está mi llave? Ay, ya la vi, me tengo que hablar ahora.
Are you here for 615 Center Street?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, I am. I apologize. I literally had just walked away from my computer. So I am calling in regards to, I'm in regards to 617 Center Street. We are a smoothie and juice bar, and it previously was an ice cream shop called FOMO, and we're just there to receive the takeout under our name.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. This time, the Mayor's Office likes to defer to the judgment of this board. The applicant went before the JPNC, which recommended approval with the proviso that it be granted just for this current business and business owner only. This occurred on December 21st of 2023. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Oh, did you mean
Ginger Brown? Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Unrelated, I assume.
I'm Ginger Brown. I'm the executive director at Jamaica Plains Center South Main Street. We are supposed to be part of the community process, and the business is supposed to go to a number of organizations within the community, not only the Neighborhood Council, but the JP Business and Professional Association, our organization, and the Jamaica Pond Association. And we are concerned that they only went to the Neighborhood Council. While we would like to support this small independent business, it is important that the community process is observed.
So do you have any issues with the business itself or the process?
Well, we don't have any issue with the business itself, but I was unclear in the agenda if they are removing the takeout proviso entirely.
Okay, would the applicant like to respond to that question? Are you?
Oh, yes. So what I was told was the takeout was only allowed for the previous owner. So we're trying to get takeout under our name now.
Okay, thank you. Any other Any other questions from the board?
I think I'm curious to know if the applicant knew the process for going in front of all the various organizations, before they did the appeal.
No, I did not. Everything that was outlined to me, and I have everything that I've written down that was told to me, and also the step-by-step from the boarding zone, the Board of Appeals. So from my understanding, I took all of the appropriate measures with the help of Melissa Beltran.
Okay, that's the mayor's liaison for the neighborhood.
Correct. So she set up all the meetings that I was supposed to attend to, and I just attended all the meetings that I was told to attend to.
Okay,
thank you.
That sounds great. So that's good to know, and I think it's good to just have kind of in the public hearing on record that there needs to be potentially more coordination with the mayor's office, neighborhood liaison, and all of the steps potentially to be given it to new
to include other
okay,
interested
great.
parties. Yep.
No further questions.
Okay. With that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion. The appeal is really to just remove the previous owner. I don't see any impact or harm, but it's good to have it on record that there is an extensive process that the city needs to make clear to new business owners in the area.
What's the motion?
Oh, motion of approval.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Is there a
Sorry
second?
about that.
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza.
Yes.
Chair also votes yes, motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
And next we have case BOA 152-8556 with the address of 14 Converse Street. If the applicant and or the representative is present, will they explain to the board, please?
Hello, my name is Adam Newman. Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board. I'm here representing the homeowner and I work with the contractor. So what we're proposing is to add a kitchen addition out the back of the house. And from what I understand, there's a side yard violation, and we're not widening anything. We're just going into the backyard itself. So I
can
just
you
wanted,
just to clarify, the side yard is a pre-existing condition. You're not
Correct.
exacerbating it. Okay.
correct, just going into the backyard itself.
Thank
And
you.
the kitchen is going onto an existing foundation. There's a deck there now, so the foundation already exists. Many of the houses in that neighborhood also have the same bump out that they've already done.
Yep.
We've
Any-
attended all the
I think we'll hear from ONS on that one.
Okay,
Are there
sorry.
any other
Thank you.
questions on the board, from the board? Okay, so hearing none, can we have public testimony? Is Mr. Newman still with us?
I am, but it should be Francis Mendoza that's commenting, so.
Oh, okay. I'm
let
sorry.
me Wrangle him real quick.
You were with us all night. Sorry, Mr. Newman.
No problem. I'm last but not least.
I know, and Mr. Newman, this one isn't a painful one, so maybe you could just weigh in briefly.
Yes, I would say I'm unaware of any concerns. I believe they reached out to the Brighton Allston Improvement Association. With that, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza.
Yes.
Chair also votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck, Mr. Newman.
Thank you. Have a good night.
And not you, Connor, but have a good night too. All right, good night.